Okay, I'll share my screen. Okay, is it visible? Yes. Anyone just please reply.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Today we will start with the next point, and that is most important point in the all programming languages, right? So that is the file handling. Okay. So I think you peoples are having idea about this file handling, or might be you studied in C or Python. Okay, but that same concept would be here. I'll just tell you in short that what that concept is, and then we'll start with some example. Okay, so see one. Oh, 1 minute. I think it's not been open. Okay, anyway, just a minute. Huh? I just wanted to open this whiteboard. Okay. Oh, see, I'll tell you first what that concept is, that file handling, so that you will understand. Okay. See, whatever the programming we just did the right till now, so that whatever the storage we have used for that programming, that is a primary memory, right? So actually, whenever we have the programming, so there are the two stages actually. So one is like, suppose this is the input device, then we can say this is the primary memory, or we can say that is RAM, and we can say that is this is secondary memory, or we can say that is hard disk. Okay, so this is hard disk. Now what happens whenever we do the programming, or see, so that one thing that we know, so everything is being stored on that file, that on hard disk. Like suppose abc.txt file is there, that we stored on the hard disk. So whatever we see on desktop or in C drive, D drive, so that is, we can say that is a permanent storage, and that is the hard disk. Suppose one file is there on hard disk. This is the abc.txt. Now I just want to open this file. So what I do normally, so I just double click on this abc.txt file. So when I just double click on this txt file, so this file first comes into the primary memory, right? And suppose here this is display, right? So for this file comes into the primary memory, and from primary memory that file goes to the display. So this is first step, we can say, and this is the second step. Now again, when we just want to edit that file, so what happens, through this input device, or we can say that is a keyboard. So we just edit that, and that will be stored saved on the hard disk, right? So these are the second two stages, we can say. This is one and this is the second, right? So whatever the programming we just sent till now, that in that programming we just use simply this simply this primary memory. Like for this, we use that C in, C out, or we can say printf in C programming, or scanf. So these functions are used to take the input and to display the output on the screen, and these the functions are related to only this primary memory. You just understand this, okay? And one thing that we know, whatever the programming we run, and we suppose give any input to that program, and after just exiting that program, so that whatever data we just enter, that gets vanished, right? When we second time rerun that same program, so at that time again we need to add that same data to that program, or we need to enter that data. One example I'll just tell you. Suppose you are having student information, right? Student information program, right? So if you are not using that the secondary storage, so in this we enter that name, suppose roll number and address, right? So what happens when we just run this program first time? So we enter that name, we enter the roll number, and we enter the address. And when we again suppose enter run that same program second time, so whatever we just enter this time, that get vanished, and we need to re-enter again that name, then roll number, and then address again. It means everything is being stored into this primary memory, and after exiting that program that get vanished, we need to enter it again. And we can understand this, whatever the programming we have seen, that is just simply for the exercise, we can say. But when we go for the real time application, so we need to store that data on the secondary storage, because we know this that primary memory is the temporary storage memory, and this is the permanent storage, right? So whatever we data stored on the secondary disk, that gets permanent, and the data whatever we save on the primary memory, that is the temporary data. And in real time application, we need that storage on the secondary disk, or we can say the hard disk, right? Because if we see the other high level languages, in that case we use that database, right? So that database is again what that we store on the secondary disk, and whatever we store into that database, that gets permanent. So whenever we need that data, we can retrieve from the database. So same thing here in this the CPP or the C programming. So whatever we stored on the secondary disk, that gets permanent, so whenever we require, we can get it again. Sorry. So this is the thing. Now see, here, as I said, we can see this part that we know. This is the, we can say, date. This is the part which we seen till now. Now just we need to add the second level into our programming, and this level is this one. So we can say this is level 1 and this is level 2. So level 1 that we know, for this level 1, we use that cin and cout functions to take input and to display the output. Now here, so from the RAM to the hard disk, and from hard disk to RAM, we need the some other operations, and these operations are called as file handling. File handling operations, right? So in file handling, when we just go for the file handling, So the main operations are, we can say, operations. So first operation that is normally we use, that is open file. I'll tell you what this open file. Then second one is the, or we can say here that create file also. Then we can read that file, we can write to file, and last one is we need to close that file. So after performing the operations, we need to close this file, right? So if you see this, so this is for reading and this is for writing, right? So if you are reading something from the hard disk, it means if you are bringing something from hard disk to primary memory, then we can say this is the read operation. If you are writing from RAM to primary memory, sorry, secondary memory, so this is nothing but the write operation. Okay. And before applying this read or write, so we need the two operation. One is the open file, or we can say create file, and second, that last one is the close file, right? So in C and C plus plus, we have some the class the header files, or we can say in CPP we have some classes. So here, if you want to perform any output operation on that file, so we have one class, that is OF stream, right? So this is for the output, we can say. So this is for the writing purpose, we can say, for writing. IF stream, this is for input, or we can say for reading purpose. And one that is a class that is common for reading and writing, this is F stream only. If you just include this class, then we can apply, we can say input or read and write operation or output. So both we can say read or write, right? So these are the three classes. But if you are having that confident key, just you want to perform only write operation, then you can use this web stream class. If you want to perform that only the input operation, then you can use this IF stream class. And if you want to perform both operations, suppose sometimes the input operation or output operation, you can use this one. And in CPP, we know that if you are having class, then we need to create that object for that class, right? So here also, so these are the three classes. So we need to just create the object for this respective class, and using that object, we can perform the read and write operations, right? So here, for the reading and the writing operations, we have some modes here, because in C programming also we use some modes. Like for reading purpose, we can use R mode in C programming. Just I'm telling about C programming. So for writing, we can use this read, write, or you want to open suppose binary file or write to binary file, right? So R plus, W plus. So these are the some modes in C programming. Okay. So similar to this, in the CPP also, we have some modes, file modes. modes in C++, right? So as we know, this is IN mode, that this mode we use for the reading purpose. So normally we use this like iOS, this is scope resolution and in, right? So this mode is used for the reading purpose. It means this will open that file to read. So here open file to read, right? And we know for this we use this class ifstream, right? And out this file mode we use this like this one. So this will open file to write, and here that class is ofstream, right? So these are the main the two modes. Other modes are like binary, append, then truncate, to create, to replace. So these are the some modes, but these two modes are the most important, right? So other modes I'll just show you on the PPT, right? So these are the modes we can use for the reading, writing, or for truncating, appending, or if you want to use that binary file, again we can use that binary mode. That is a binary, because in C programming this we use for the binary, right? RB and WB. So here that binary is the mode, that complete name is there, that is a binary. Okay. So again I'll just tell you the concept and we'll just start with the presentation. Okay. If suppose you want to open any file, so first step is to open the file, then we can apply that read and write operations, and then you need to close that file. So you can use this, or you can use that app stream also, right? So I'll just use this app stream, so that will be for the reading and writing purpose. And here we, as I said, this is the object and this is the class, file class. Okay. And we created this object, that file object. Suppose we can give any name that for this. So I just use that file object. So using this file object we can perform the operations, right? So if you want to open any file, so here file object, this dot, because this method that we know how we access the functions in member functions in CPP. So object dot, that member function name that we use. So here suppose you want to open that file, so you can use this function. This is object, this is a function, member function, we can say this is inbuilt. And here you need to provide that file name, right? Suppose that file name you are giving that abc.txt, right? And if you want to perform the input operation, so that you can mention here iOS, or if you want to perform that output, so you can put the out. Suppose you are writing here out, or you can use also that in operation, in that is for the input. So what the meaning of this one? This will create file, this is abc.txt, right? And this file is for, and perform output operation. right? This is the meaning of this statement. And once we just open that file for input or output operation, then you can perform the according operations after this. Here you can you perform after this input or output operations. So depending on this mode, you can perform the input or output operations. And at the end, we can say this file object dot close. Right. So this is the we can say in short the syntax or the steps to write or to perform the operations on the file. First is to create this object. This is first step. Second is to open that file or create that file. If that file is already exists on your hard disk, then it will open. If that file is not there on the hard disk, so this will create that file and then open for the reading or writing purpose, right? And at the end, you need to close this file, right? So with this, we can just perform the operations, right? Now here, of as I said, here you can see. Hmm. So whatever is this level one, just I told you, here we can use cin and cout functions to take input and to display the output. So we can use cin and cout. Now here in second level, we use the insertion operator and this extraction operator. So this we called it as insertion operator, and this we called as extraction operator. So these two operators are used in CPP to write and to read from the hard disk, to write to the hard disk and to read from the hard disk. So we use these two operators, we can say operators, right? These two operators we use for this reading and writing purpose. So one simple the program I'll just tell you here so that you will understand here. I'll just explain it again, that same program. So here I'll just tell you from the start. This file we include. This is the IO stream, right? And second header file that we need to include here is fstream. This is f stream. So this is a mandatory headed file, we can say, and using namespace std. Okay. Suppose I just wanted to accept some input from the user and I just wanted to store on the hard disk, or suppose whatever is the file on the hard disk, so I need to read that file from hard disk to primary memory. Okay. So suppose I want to perform this read operation, so what I can do, suppose a1 string, I'm just taking here like name, take any size for this. Okay. And as I said, I need to create one object of file. If I'm just reading this if stream, and suppose any object I can say here, suppose in file, right? So this is object. In above example here, we just consider this as a file object. So any name you can give here. As I am just doing here input operation, so I am just using this one, right? So this is first step, we can say. Second step is I need to create that file, or if that file is there, then I need to open that file. So in file and then function, and as I said here, that syntax is first you need to write that file name, suppose abc.txt, right, and the purpose of that file, iOS, and here I can say in, right. So now we just opened that file, or we created that file. Now here we can say I need to bring that file from the we can say secondary memory to primary memory. So I just use that operator here, this in file, and here name. So whatever is the name we have written on that file, suppose, so that we need to bring, and after just bringing this into the primary memory, I need to display on the hard disk. So this is our normal function. So this is this syntax we know, right? And after just reading displaying this, so I need to close this file. In file, that close, right? And here we can say return 0, and this one, right? So this is the actual syntax, we can say. So in between this statement and this statement, we can perform the operations here, operations. Okay, so I think you might understood. So if in this case, whatever is the file there, suppose one file is there on the hard disk, and suppose that name is like Harish there. Okay, so we bring this file to the RAM, right, and from here we display on the screen. So this is Harish name. Okay, so from here to here, that we know, this we use cout, right, and here we use this operator. Okay, so same the program we can write for the writing purpose, right. So I'll just tell you. Okay, so if you are having any doubt into this, you can ask. Okay, I'll just start the presentation. So if anything, you can ask. Okay, so here, as I said, so file handling is what? So file handling provides a mechanism to store the output of the program in a file and to perform various operation on it. It means this file handling perform just allowed to store that the data permanently on the secondary disk, and we can perform the some operations on that data. One example again, I'll just tell you. Suppose you are doing the sorting program, and once you just given that input to that program, the data gets sorted, and after exiting that program, so when we rerun that program again, we need to give that data, right? But if you are having that file handling concept, so once we just enter that data, we applied suppose that sorting algorithm on that data, and when that data gets sorted, so that second time or at any time, so you when you open that file, so that data will be in sorted manner, right? So that is the purpose of this file handling. So in C++, files are mainly dealt with or by using three classes. So which are these classes? I already told you. So I stream, F stream, or O stream. So these are the three classes. So what is the purpose of that OF stream? So OF stream class is applied to create a file for writing information to the file, right? And IF stream, so IF stream class that is used for reading purpose, and upstream, so that data sorry that upstream class that is used for both reading and writing purpose, right? And as I said, these are the operations we can perform on the file. So first one is the create a file. So that means that open that function we use. Reading a data, it means to read. Writing new data, that is a write. And closing a file, that is a final operation. Okay. Suppose just I want to perform that open operation. So we can open a file using any one of the following methods. So this is the method. So first one is we can use that constructor, and second one is that we can use the open function. So syntax for this is what? See, void open. This is a file name, and here I was scope resolution operator, and then mode we can use here, right? So here that first argument of the open function defines the name and the format of the file. So here that format of the file means whether you are using that text file or binary file or dat file, any file. So whatever the format you just want to use, or if suppose that file is stored in the dat format, so that format you need to put here, right? Just like I just mentioned there, abc.txt, it means that is a text file. So similar to that, we can use that binary or other format also. Okay. And second, the argument represent the mode in which that file has to be opened. So here that second argument to this open function is that represent in which mode you want to open that file. So whether for the reading purpose, writing purpose, or whatever, so that we need to mention here in the second parameter, right? These are the file modes, as I said. So N for open that file for the reading purpose, out that is for the writing purpose, binary that is for the binary mode, right? So this open file in binary mode, app that opens the file and append all the output at the end of the file. Because when we perform that write operation on the file, suppose I want to add some contents into the file, and if you are using suppose these two operations, in operation or out operation, so these two operations when we apply, so that file pointer comes to the first character. It means whatever I just enter into that file, so that will be overwritten on the file, right? But if you are using that app, it means that pointer will goes at the last character of the file, and after that, that whatever content we enter, that will be added. So at the end, that contents will be added, right? Similar to this, at trunk, no create, and no replace. So these modes we can use whenever we required. As per your requirements, we can use these modes. Okay. This is a syntax for this. As I said, this fstream is a class, and this new file, this is an object of this fstream. And using this object, we can access the functions of this file handling. So this first is open function. For that, we need to use this object, and this is a syntax. So file name dot txt, see here I just use the txt, it means that file is a text file. And this is the mode we can use. So here that new file is an object of type upstream. As we know, upstream in a class, so we need to create an object of this class to use its member functions, that we know. So what is the purpose of that object? To access any the member functions of that class, so we need to use that object, right? So for that, we created this object. So we create new file object. This we created new file object and call open function. So here we use out mode. This is the out mode that allow us to open the file to write in it. Okay, so if you are using in if stream, OF stream, or F stream, so we can use this format. For IF stream, so iOS scope resolution in, for OF scope resolution out, and F stream we can use both, in or out. Okay, so this is a simple the program we can say, right? This is for the opening a file. So what we did here, we created that file object here, and file is abc.txt that we opened for the output purpose, right? So this is a condition we just applied. If suppose file is fail or something, if that object is not there, then we can say print this message. And in else part, actually we did this, new file is created, and after creating that new file, suppose you want to perform any operations, you can perform. I'll just show you how this will be. Copy this. For C, here you can read here, there is no ABC file, right? If you say this is a folder where I'm just writing this program. So I'll just paste over here and save this. And when I just run this program, this will create a file. That file name would be abc.txt. And here I'm not writing or reading anything. So just simply I'm creating the empty file here. Okay. So if I just run this, so new file is created, and you can go on that folder. You can see here this abc.txt file has been created. Nothing is here, but that file has been created. So abc.txt, this is a text file. So this file has been created, right? Now I just tell you read and write operation over here. Okay, so this is the program to open the file. Now how do I perform the read and write operation? So something for that. So to read a file, we need to use in mode. Already I just told you, with this format. And to write, we use that out with this format, right? And to use both operations, we can use that F stream, right? So we can print the content of a file from main memory to screen using extraction operator. I just told you this one. And we can write content from main memory to file using this insertion operator, right? So if you say this, I'll just copy this again. Just paste over here. Okay. Now here this file abc.txt, I'll just give another name. Suppose here xxxx something. You can give any name, right? So this file will be created, and if any contents are there, so this will be displayed. So you can see here, right? So reading a file, what I just open this, where this xx file is not there actually. That's why. Okay. So I'll just take first that write operation. See here this write operation, or I can perform both operation. I'll just take the both operations here, read and write operations. Okay. You can see here what I did. Oh, so this object, that is out file object, I have created here, right? Then ABC. So I'll just use suppose this file name qqq something, whatever, right? This file name I just use for writing purpose, and here also for reading the content from that file. Okay, you can give any name. So what I'm saying here, I just open this file to write, then I can take that data, whatever I just wanted to write here. Okay, so you can see here, these three statements were used for the writing, and last one is to close that file. So here I'm just taking the name, and that same thing I'm just writing to that file using that output file, that is object and that name, right? And whatever I have written, just I'm reading from that here, right? So I'll just save it and run it. Suppose I'm just giving that name Harish, right? So it means whatever the name I have just written here, that should be written on that file. You can see here, and whatever is written on that file, that has been displayed here, Harish. So how do we check this? I'll just check this. You can see here QQQQ, this file is there, this, and if I open this file, so that Harish should be there, right? You can give anything. Suppose I'll just uh, something I'll just give, okay, and I'll just check over here. Again, when I just open this, you can see here, whatever I just enter here, that has been written over here. And whatever is written over here, if you see, or do I, suppose I am not using this one, right? You can see here, simply I am reading the content from this file. So here, suppose in this file, I'll just go there and I'll just delete this and I'll write something we have, right? I'll save this. Let me see whether this will display or not. You can see here, this Vihan has been displayed, right? If I change this, anything here, okay, and I just check it again. You can see here, this is the output. It means if you are having file on hard disk and if you write anything on that file, so you can display, right? And if you want to write something to that file, again we can write it. So this was the introductory part, we can say. Now we need to apply some exceptions on this file handling. So these we'll see. Okay. So see, this whatever we have seen, this is only for the reading and writing purpose. So whatever the C program or CPP program we have, so that we can write to the hard disk and we can read from that hard disk. Okay. Now here some the exceptions are there. So exception handling that we need to do, that is the main part in this. So that we will see in next lecture. But here at least you need to understand how to read and how to write the file. Okay. So if anything you can ask. If any doubt in this, so you can ask me.